Americans are mad about inflation, rising gas prices, this wider sense the economy is rigged. Workers struggle while CEO pay still skyrockets. Big tech harvesting our data to create their own AI riches. And Trump is using his job to enrich himself. We know corporations wield power sometimes as quasi-monopolies, with critics saying the market concentration has reached illegal levels in several fields. And you don't need to be an economist to see the problem. Everyone knows the game Monopoly. Capitalism does require competition, not one person controlling everything and then spiking prices on you. Now, liberals have pushed this point and gotten some progress. Doesn't even always make headlines, but I'll remind you, President Biden actually cracked down on monopoly-style corporations, blocking mergers that could hurt consumers' access to things like groceries or airline tickets and even the important issue of health care. Now, another monopoly example that just about everyone knows about is Ticketmaster. It merged with its main competitor, Live Nation. They throttle competition. Major artists, many fans have noticed the fees and protested this for years. In fact, the company's jacked up ticket prices by 20% or more. That's their service fees that apparently they're allowed to charge because there's no competition. And this has been an issue on huge tours in dozens of locations. It's a giant economic issue because the concert industry tops, get this, $200 billion annually. That's in the U.S. alone. For context, every NFL team combined is $245 billion. So we're talking about a big deal. And Ticketmaster employees under scrutiny have actually been caught looking at all this as a big joke when they drive up your prices. One internally was talking about robbing customers blind. Robbing them because of their monopoly power. They can get away with it. Now, this is back in the news this week, and I'll explain why, but the history is the Biden DOJ actually got tough on the concert giant. It took them to court to try to break them up. Now, that process can take years, and the case finally went to trial this week with testimony that the Live Nation Ticketmaster president was doing the monopoly stuff that critics had always alleged, even threatening a big stadium that they would just pull concerts if they had to face what we all deal with in the market economy, if they were forced to face competition.
Testified that Michael Rapino, who was the president of Live Nation, told him the concerts might disappear if the venue switched to another ticketing company. So there's been threats on the record that people are saying under oath.
That's what they were saying. The case against the company driving headlines. There's also states that filed antitrust suits from top Democrats in blue states. There's also outrage from Republicans in Congress. Monopoly ticket price gouging is actually a rare point of agreement across party lines because just about everyone hates it, and it's obviously unfair. And politicians have music fans as constituents. They all do. And Congress has actually held hearings going at Ticketmaster, quoting Taylor Swift, if that helps you get more interested. The issue boiling over with outrage because a lot of regular people struggled to get tickets to the much-beloved Taylor Eras tour.
What Ticketmaster and its parent company, Live Nation, are doing looks like an illegal monopoly.
As a ode to Taylor Swift, I will say we know all too well.
This merger between Live Nation and Ticketmaster will absolutely have and continue to have a detrimental effect on their prices.
Ticketmaster ought to look in the mirror and say, I'm the problem. It's me.
I think it's a nightmare dressed like a daydream. I don't think we ought to go there.
They know the lyrics. That was both parties. And conservative Republicans, along with Democrats and Biden's antitrust prosecutors and music fans, all backed the basic demand for fair competition over monopoly price gouging. Or take a well-known artist and MAGA fan, Kid Rock, hammering Ticketmaster's gouging and testifying to Congress this year about breaking them up.
I believe music fans and artists have been getting screwed for far too long by the ticketing system. Should Ticketmaster and Live Nation be broken up? Probably.
Now, Trump's happy to use Kid Rock for promotion, for photo ops. But I guess when it comes to policy or Kid Rock's fans, that has its limits. Because while Trump had reversed virtually all signature Biden policies that are under White House control, The Biden DOJ antitrust case on this issue continued for over a year and up through this week. And granted, there's been a lot going on this week, which is why we're getting to this update here. That effort, started by Biden, had the wide support I just walked you through. But now the news is the Trump DOJ just backed down. They have jumped ship, settling with Ticketmaster for small tweaks, dropping the long-running bid to actually break them up on behalf of consumers as an illegal monopoly. A judge still has to approve it. Some states say they're not going to back what they view as a weak Trump settlement. Now, the president tries to distract from all kinds of problems and policies that he knows are unpopular. From breaking vows to drain the swamp, when you look at the rise in corruption in Washington, to now undercutting his party's claims that they actually cared about lowering prices for you or these monopolies. Politically, it's obviously very popular to do this, but Trump apparently wants to side with the fat cats. A monopolistic corporation beats out the people in Trump's America. And contrasted to the alternative, where Democrats were actually doing things to bring down prices. This is a part of a wider corporate agenda for Trump, even as perhaps fans like Kid Rock are still confused or in denial about his populist claims. And Trump has now gone well beyond, say, the tax cuts of the first term for millionaires to these more extreme measures of crony capitalism, as if this is the last hand in the game and they don't even care how it looks. Abusing the oversight powers to shake down media mergers for partisan political coverage, which has been in the news a lot lately. The financial Bible, the Wall Street Journal, has criticized Trump's monopoly tendencies and bids to pick winners and losers, or to even demand stakes in public companies. And here's the other thing I want you to remember. This is a long ways from the competitive capitalism that is supposed to work for you. In fact, in history, there are Republicans who even led the trust-busting fight. Take Republican President Teddy Roosevelt. Despite the passing resemblance you see here to Mr. Monopoly himself, a Republican back in the day, Roosevelt fought the moneyed interests in the trust. He advocated a role for government regulating corporations and said Wall Street has to understand, quote, "We're not attacking the corporations, but endeavoring to do away with any evil in them." Trump chooses some corporations over consumers and his own MAGA base. Many leaders, though, in history have actually tried to save capitalism's monopoly tendencies from itself.
Antitrust enforcement, rather, is law enforcement, and we need more of it.
Concentrated industries result in concentrated profits.
A handful of mega billionaires and companies controlling what we see and what we hear.
Over and over and over, they have found ways to use their monopoly platforms to cheat, steal, and lie.
The time is now to start breaking them up.
When markets are not competitive, big businesses are able to extract monopoly profits by setting prices that are higher and higher.
They don't want to face juries. And I think the same is true for antitrust enforcement. They do not want to face private enforcers.
Note the broad spectrum. Some of the loudest voices here may trend progressive, but populist Republicans also say this is something to fix. Not even a close call. Just not the Republicans in the White House. Donald Trump's Ticketmaster cop-out is news this week, and it follows a wider pattern where the Biden DOJ's fight for consumers, whether people knew about it or not, people are busy living their lives, or maybe it wasn't hyped and promoted with all the right memes, but the Biden fight for consumers gets dropped or undercut by Trump. And this Biden DOJ lawsuit was not alone. There was another one hammering Walmart and Pepsi for a secret plot to collude for higher prices, which affects everyone in every Walmart, red state or blue, but it was dropped, again, by the Trump DOJ. And critics say that move rewards more potential price fixing, which costs you, Americans, millions. Trump ran against high prices and affordability, and then dropped the issue in office. Now he claims the affordability he championed is actually a Democratic scam. But I guess that makes him a scammer, since this was the thing he promised to address. These cases show it's actually even worse on policy. Trump actively dropping these years-long actions just to try to help consumers, actually stand up and fight these very powerful very rich price gouging corporations, whether that's from tickets, which I showed you are as big as the NFL, or to groceries, which we all need to stay alive. And these are exactly the things Trump wants to keep out of the news. If you're hearing about this for the first time, well, consider this a little step you're taking that Trump wishes you didn't know about. These anti-consumer actions have real-world consequences, and it undercuts him with his base as they learn about it. Remember, the lies, they don't override the lived reality of these high prices. 80% of people say Trump has failed to improve affordability, whether they know about the antitrust history I just mentioned or not. And America has gone from presidents fighting the monopoly man, really from Roosevelt to Biden, to a self-enriching billionaire who apparently would like to be the monopoly man if you and Kid Rock let him get away with it.